Hello and welcome back to the Fencing Referee YouTube channel. My name is Lisa Campi-Sapri. I can be found on thefencingref.com, the Fencing Referee on Facebook, and of course right here. And it helps me out if you subscribe to this channel. Ages ago, I told you about when I was studying for one of my FIE tests that I did flashcards. Yes, I'm nerdy. I did flashcards. And I had talked about this card specifically. If you can read my terrible handwriting, it says oddball annulments. And those are the annulments that are kind of surprising. And so I thought it would be great if I just kind of told you that the oddball annulments, the ones that are kind of strange. In yellow card land, it's core to avoid a touch is an annulment. So if I somehow cause core to avoid a touch, but I get my tip in and I hit you, but I've done this violation of the rules, I actually get my point annulled. I don't get that point. Another one is a very strange one, and I'm not sure I understand it completely, but touching or holding the electrical equipment. So I guess if I'm holding on to my body cord while I score a touch, that annuls my point, because if I am grabbing my foil and hitting you, that actually is, which one? That's using the unarmed hand, right? So that would be a red card, and that would also be annulled because it's got the little mark here. So that's not an oddball annulment. That really makes sense. But touching or holding electrical equipment is an annulment. Okay. Jostling or disorderly fencing is an annulment. So if I jostle you, my point gets annulled, which I guess is not that much of an oddball. I guess it kind of makes sense. But I grouped it in here just because it also was disorderly fencing. So if I am disorderly fencing, whatever that means, that I annul my touch. So again, sometimes the rules are vague on purpose and sometimes they just confuse us. So another one that's a little confusing is irregular movements and abnormal movements are also an annulment. Now this is paired with, it's grouped with during and after a fall. So that, to me, during and after fall, annulling that makes sense. But because it's really difficult to determine what an irregular movement is or an abnormal movement is, that would be a weird one for me to apply. I think touch while falling, an annulment, it's not a point and it's a yellow card. It's a weird oddball thing is that if I fall and I don't score a point, I don't get a card, which is a little confusing. But if I fall and I score a point, I get a card. One could argue that if I do a parry riposte off target and foil, and I fall while doing it, I don't get a card because it's not a touch. But you could argue that it is a touch because a touch off target resets the 1 minute clock for non-combativity. Yeah, there are some things that are a little vague in our rules. But let's go back to irregular movements and abnormal movements on the piece is an annulment. Another one that's a very strange annulment is absence of control marks is annulment. Well, if you don't have control marks, how are you using that equipment? So somehow you don't have control marks and you annul the points with the equipment that you weren't supposed to be using because it didn't have control marks. You can see why I'm confused by the oddball annulments. And the last oddball annulment, which I have explained in one of my modules recently, is dishonest fencing. If I'm fencing dishonestly, of course you would annul that touch. Where's dishonest fencing? Which group is it? Group 2, right? Dishonest fencing right here. Okay. Where is it? Where's dishonest fencing? Oh, dishonest. Group 3. Oh, I misspoke. My apologies. Group 3. I couldn't read my own handwriting. I forgot. It's not one of my group 2s. Oh, bad Lisa. Bad Lisa. Dishonest fencing is a red card, but it is an oddball annulment. So I promised I would tell you which were the strange annulments, and we don't group which ones annul the touch in yellow land or in group 2 land or in group 3 land. And you would think that that would organize it, but I really feel like this is organized in lists kind of severity. And if that helps you, then great. My oddball annulments were core to avoid a touch, touching or holding the electrical equipment, disorderly fencing irregular movements and abnormal movements on the piste, absence of control marks, and dishonest fencing. Those are oddball annulments which confused me. I hope that this helped you. This is a quick one. This is a little less than 6 minutes. Remember, studying when you're going to a very important tournament or for a test or for, you're going to be observed, these are great things to do. I just created myself a whole bunch of flashcards, and you can laugh at me or make fun of me later if you'd like. And this is how I help myself figure out the rules. See, I'm still not perfect at it because I forgot that dishonest fencing was not in the 6 that are in the second group. I got flustered. Every once in a while the camera's on and I still get flustered. Thank you so much for making yourself a better referee. Your comments have been so helpful to me. Please keep commenting, and please keep making yourself better. It's the way we make our entire sport better. Thanks now. Take care now.